The night Parker Henderson's life changed began with a tremor that rattled the windows of his forest ranger cabin. He'd been watching the meteor shower, a lonely man's entertainment in the remote wilderness of Montana. The blue-green streak that blazed across the sky didn't burn out like the others. It grew larger, brighter, until the forest erupted in light. The impact shook the ground beneath his boots as he ventured toward the glow emanating from beyond the tree line. Steam rose from scorched earth as he approached, flashlight beam dancing across broken branches. That's when he found her. She wasn't sprawled in wreckage as he'd expected, but standing disoriented in a perfect circle of charred grass. Her skin seemed to pulse with a faint inner light, and markings like liquid silver rippled across her forearms. Her eyes, impossibly violet, locked onto his. "Hello?" Parker's voice cracked. 20 years as a ranger hadn't prepared him for this. The woman tilted her head, dark hair shimmering with threads that caught the moonlight like fiber optics. A gash across her side leaked a luminescent fluid. "You're hurt," he said, approaching slowly as he might a wounded animal. Her lips parted. "Help." The word carried an accent he couldn't place, melodic and strange. When he touched her arm to steady her, gentle electric current buzzed through his fingertips. Despite his better judgment, he draped his jacket around her shoulders. "I'm Parker," he offered, the name feeling small against the enormity of the moment. "Celeste," she replied, the name sounding both improvised and perfect. Her weight felt oddly buoyant as he carried her back to his cabin, as though gravity had a gentler hold on her. Every instinct screamed this wasn't normal. Yet something deeper than fear pulled him forward. Inside his cabin, the firelight danced across her otherworldly features. The wound at her side pulsed with blue light. "What are you?" he whispered, half to himself. Celeste's eyes fluttered. "Lost." Parker dampened a cloth and reached for her wound, but hesitated. "I don't know if this will help." She guided his hand to her side. The sensation that shot through him wasn't pain, but awareness, like suddenly feeling the Earth's rotation. For a moment, Parker saw stars behind his eyelids, felt the cold emptiness between them. "Thank you," she whispered as the blue light dimmed. Outside, an owl called into the night. Parker realized with sudden clarity that nothing would ever be the same again. The lonely routine of his forest existence had been shattered in a single night, as Celeste's eyes drifted closed. Exhaustion claiming her, Parker stood guard by the window, watching for headlights on the distant road, for helicopters, for anything that might come looking for her. Something had fallen from the sky tonight, and it wasn't a meteor. It was the beginning of everything. Strange cohabitation morning brought reality into sharper focus. Sunlight streamed through cabin windows, illuminating dust motes, and the woman asleep on Parker's couch. In daylight, Celeste looked almost human, almost. The faint luminescence beneath her skin remained, pulsing gently with her heartbeat. Parker busied himself making coffee, stealing glances at his mysterious guest. 3 years alone in this ranger station had made him awkward around people, let alone whatever she was. Celeste stirred, violet eyes opening to study the cabin with methodical curiosity. "Safe place?" she asked, her voice clearer than the previous night. "My home," Parker replied, offering a steaming mug. "Coffee?" She sniffed it cautiously before mimicking his drinking motion. Her face contorted in surprise, but she continued sipping. "Where do you come from?" he ventured. Celeste pointed upward. "Far." Then she touched her chest. "Traveler. Observer." She struggled with the words, as if translating complex concepts into simple terms. Parker nodded slowly. "Space. You're from space." Her silver-traced fingers touched his hand, and images flooded his mind, vast nebulae, crystalline structures floating among stars. Beings of light communicating through color and vibration. He gasped, pulling away. "Sorry," she said, looking genuinely remorseful. "Easier to show?" That evening, exhaustion claimed Parker after his sleepless night. Celeste had spent hours examining everything in his cabin with childlike fascination, books, photographs, even the texture of his flannel shirts. "I should sleep," he mumbled, stretching. "You can stay on the couch." Celeste frowned. visibly uncomfortable on the narrow sofa, well, Parker said with a nervous laugh. Attempting humor, I guess you could share my bed if you want, to his shock. Celeste rose immediately and headed toward his bedroom. Bed, yes, Parker froze, his joke backfiring spectacularly. Wait, that wasn't I didn't mean, but Celeste was already examining his quilt, running her fingers over the patchwork. Together? Her question held no suggestion, no innuendo, just innocent inquiry. Parker realized with a jolt that she interpreted everything literally. No, I'll take the couch, he said quickly, grabbing a spare blanket. Celeste tilted her head. Why joke about sharing, if not true? The question pierced him deeper than expected. Why did humans say things they didn't mean? How much of communication was performance rather than truth? It's complicated, he admitted lamely. Later, trying to sleep on his too-short couch, Parker heard soft humming from his bedroom, a melody that made the hair on his arms stand up, beautiful and alien. Outside, the forest had gone unnaturally quiet, as if listening. Tomorrow, he decided he would ask more questions about where she came from, why she was here, how long until others came looking for her, for tonight. He simply listened to her song and wondered how quickly a person could get used to the impossible. 3 days passed. Parker called the ranger station with a flimsy excuse about illness, buying time. Celeste learned English with astonishing speed, absorbing vocabulary like a sponge soaking up water. The silver markings on her skin appeared and faded in patterns Parker began to recognize. Its emotional responses brightest when she was excited, nearly invisible when she slept. Thunder, she said suddenly. Looking up from the book she'd been studying, Parker glanced outside. Clear skies. No storm today? Coming, she insisted, touching the window glass. Feel it. An hour later, clouds rolled in, dark and heavy with rain. Lightning split the sky as thunder shook the cabin walls. How did you know? Parker asked, lighting candles as the power flickered. Celeste smiled. Air changes. Particles move differently. He was learning that her senses extended far beyond human capability. She could hear frequencies beyond his range, see colors he couldn't imagine. As rain pounded the roof, Parker noticed Celeste's unease. Each thunderclap made her flinch. Storms frighten you? He asked. Reminds me of ... She struggled for words. The breaking. When my vessel ... crashed, you were in an accident? Her eyes darkened. Not accident, pursued. The revelation sent a chill through him. Someone's looking for you. Celeste nodded solemnly. Collectors. They study other beings like scientists. No ethics, she clarified. They take, dissect, learn through breaking. Particularly violent thunderclap made her jump. Without thinking, Parker moved beside her, placing a comforting arm around her shoulders. The contact sent the now familiar current through him. But gentler this time, almost pleasant. You're safe here, he promised. Though he wasn't sure how he could protect her from interstellar threats, Celeste leaned against him. Her body temperature slightly higher than human normal. Your kindness is ... She searched for the word unexpected. My people believe humans are primitive, violent. Sometimes we are, Parker admitted. Sometimes beautiful too, she whispered. Their faces were inches apart now. Parker noticed how her pupils dilated slightly, ringed with that impossible violet. For a moment, he thought she might kiss him, and stranger still, he wanted her to. The moment shattered as headlights swept across the cabin windows. A vehicle on the access road. Parker pulled back the curtain to see a black SUV crawling slowly through the rain, its searchlights scanning the forest edge. Government plates. They found crash site, Celeste whispered, silver markings pulsing with alarm. Tracking energy signature. My signature's on you now too, she added, touching his arm where her luminescent blood had stained his sleeve that first night. Parker's mind raced. If they were looking for alien technology, they wouldn't stop until they found it tore her. We need to leave, he said, already reaching for his emergency pack. Now, hunters and hunted, they slipped out the back door during a crescendo of thunder. Parker leading Celeste into the forest he knew better than his own heartbeat. Rain soaked them immediately, but provided cover from the thermal imaging he suspected their pursuers would employ. "Stay in the water when possible," he instructed, guiding her along a shallow creek that cut through the wilderness. "It masks our trail." For hours they moved in darkness, Celeste's faint glow the only light until Parker deemed it safe to use his flashlight. By dawn, they had covered 12 miles of rough terrain, finally taking shelter in a small cave system Parker used for wildlife observation. "You're shivering," he noted as they settled inside, concern etching his features. "Energy reserves." "Depleting," Celeste explained, her silver markings dimmer than usual. "Need to regenerate?" She explained that her kind absorbed energy from stars' proximity to a sun, recharged them. Earth's yellow star wasn't ideal, but sufficient. Without direct sunlight, her strength would gradually diminish. "The clearing ahead gets good eastern exposure," Parker said. "At first light, we'll find a safe spot." They huddled together for warmth, sharing Parker's thermal blanket. The strange intimacy of their situation wasn't lost on him, a human and a star traveler, fugitives in the wilderness. "Why help me?" Celeste asked softly. "Risk everything?" Parker considered the question. At first, compassion. Now, ... He struggled to articulate feelings he barely understood himself. "Now I can't imagine not knowing you." Her hand found his in the darkness, fingers intertwining. Where their skin touched, a warm glow emanated, illuminating their faces in soft blue light. "My people connect through energy transference," she whispered. "May I show you?" Parker nodded, and Celeste leaned forward, pressing her forehead against his. The contact unleashed a flood of sensation, not thoughts exactly, but pure emotion. He felt her gratitude, her fascination with Earth, her growing affection for him. Most poignantly, he felt her loneliness, centuries of solitary observation across countless worlds. When they separated, tears streaked Parker's face. "That was communion," she finished. "Sharing of essence." Under the blanket of stars visible through the cave entrance, they kissed tentatively at first, then with increasing certainty. Her lips carried the faintest electric charge, sending pleasurable currents through his body in that moment. The hunters searching for them, the differences between their species, the impossibility of their situation, none of it mattered. There was only this connection, burning bright against the darkness. Morning would bring new dangers, new decisions. But tonight, in a cave in the Montana wilderness, two beings from different worlds found something neither had expected: belonging. The military convoy grew to 7 vehicles by the 6th day. From their hiding place on the ridge, Parker and Celeste watched men in hazmat suits collecting samples from the impact site. Helicopters periodically swept the forest, searchlights cutting through the canopy. "They're expanding the search perimeter," Parker noted grimly. Celeste stood motionless, her attention fixed on the night sky. "Others come? More collectors?" She shook her head. "My people, sentinels. They track my beacon." Parker's heart sank. He'd known this moment would come, but hadn't allowed himself to dwell on it. How long? 1 rotation of your planet? 1 day. 24 hours before she would leave, before whatever they had found together would end. That night, they made camp beside a mountain stream. Celeste's strength had returned after days of absorbing sunlight. The silver patterns across her skin glowed brighter than ever, pulsating with vitality. "Come with me," she said suddenly. Parker looked up sharply. "What? To the stars?" "My people allow companions sometimes. Exceptional humans who demonstrate." She searched for the words "profound connection." The offer staggered him. Leave Earth, travel among stars. Be with her. What would happen to me out there? Celeste touched his face. Adaptation. Not immediate. Gradual change. Longer life. Different awareness. Parker thought about his life before Celeste, the solitude, the routine, the quiet desperation. He'd chosen ranger service after his parents died, seeking escape in wilderness. For years, he'd convinced himself isolation was preferable to the pain of attachment. Then she fell from the sky. "If I stayed," he asked carefully, "would you ever return?" Sadness flickered across her features. "My mission spanned centuries. By your return. She didn't finish, but she didn't need to. By her return, his human lifespan would be complete. Morning brought their answer, a luminous disturbance in the atmosphere, visible only to them, her people. Arriving as promised, they stood together on the mountainside, hands intertwined. Below, military vehicles raced along forest roads, sensors undoubtedly detecting the massive energy signature above. They'll see your ship, Parker warned. Celeste smiled. They'll see nothing. Different frequency of reality. The air before them shimmered, colors human eyes weren't meant to perceive. Celeste stepped forward, then turned back to Parker, violet eyes questioning. In that moment, everything crystallized. His fear, his longing, his hope. Yes, he said simply. She smiled, taking his hand. As they stepped together into the shimmer, Parker felt his perception shift. The world seemed to unfold, revealing layers and dimensions previously invisible. The air hummed with information. Stars sang. He looked back once at the earth falling away beneath them, the forests, mountains and oceans that had been his home. Then he turned toward Celeste, toward the vast cosmos opening before them. Some would call it an abduction. Others, an ascension. Parker called it the beginning of an endless story,